Good afternoon. This is Christopher Tipper, founder and CEO of Hunter Benefits Consulting Group and one half of the 401 Couple podcast. This is the first 15-minute webinar of 2026. We are going to be talking about owner-only plans for 2025. This webinar will be 15 minutes of content and followed by 15 minutes of Q&A. Kaylin from my sales team will be monitoring questions in the chat. So let's please try to hold them to the end, please. Kaylin has been instructed to unmute herself if I've completely lost everybody or I've said something sideways or wrong. So please keep yourselves on mute until the Q&A session. And also, I'm wearing the hat because, man, my white hair just glows and it doesn't look very good on Zoom. Otherwise, also, did you guys bring your adult beverage? Do you understand how we do things at Hunter Benefits? And away we go. All right. So now this webinar is designed specifically for financial advisors and CPAs who have sole proprietor clients with 0 employees or who would like clients that meet that demographic. A major regulatory shift has created a powerful new planning tool for you. The ability for a sole proprietor to establish a 401k plan after the end of the plan year and still make employee deferrals for that prior year. Now, this is a massive change because originally plans had to be established by December 31st to allow for employee deferrals, leaving many late deciding business owners stuck with only a SEP IRA as their only choice. And remember, SEPs cannot be coordinated with a cash balance plan. This webinar's purpose is to give you the knowledge needed to help clients capitalize on retroactive deferrals, understand how a 401k plan compares with a SEP and a simple in an owner-only environment, and integrate this new capability into proactive tax planning conversations. By understanding how retroactive employee deferrals, Roth deferral options, catch-ups, and super catch-ups, and profit sharing interact within a 401k, you'll be able to confidently explain why sole proprietors should strongly consider leveraging a 401k structure instead of the old default of the SEP. Now, because time is limited, the content is going to be focusing on the essentials that matter most: who qualifies, what changed, and why the change matters. So what's changed with Secure 2.0? We now have the ability to establish a 401k plan after the plan year has ended and still make employee deferrals for that prior year. Now, for those of you with an awareness of ERISA, there was a change earlier that let us do this for all employers, but that was only for employer contributions. What's new here is the employee deferrals for a very specific group of employers. And it's only one type of employer can do this. Historically, employee deferrals for everybody were required the plan to be established no later than December 31st. So that would be December 31st of 2025. In this instance, this created challenges for sole proprietors who often do not know their final net income until well into tax season. Now, many previously found out too late that they could have contributed to a 401k plan, but missed the establishment deadline, forcing them into a SEP. Now, then that only allows employer contributions, and we're going to explain in a couple of slides why we make a big difference between employer and employee contributions. The new rule allows retroactive decision-making. You can now meet with clients early in the following year, which is right now, all right? Review income figures and still engineer employee deferrals that maximize tax benefits for 2025. Retroactive contributions may be pre-tax or Roth, depending on what your client wants and what their planning needs are. These Roth deferrals were previously unavailable after year end. Obviously, SEPs cannot offer Roth deferrals as part of their planning opportunities. This also reinforces the importance of you engaging clients early in tax season to review whether retroactive deferrals could improve their tax outcome and retirement readiness. Now, for sole proprietors in a higher income tax bracket, or higher income brackets, the ability to coordinate with a cash balance plan is extremely valuable. For lower incomes, The retroactive option makes a 401k plan much more appealing than a SEP because it allows for larger contributions that are not tied solely to a percentage of net earned income. You should view this rule change as a compelling reason to revisit all non-401k plans sponsoring owner-only clients each year. This opportunity adds flexibility, enhances savings potential, and elevates the strategic role you can play in year-over-year planning. Eligibility for this planning opportunity is very narrow. It only impacts one very thin slice of employees, but it can be very, very impactful. It applies exclusively to individuals who are sole proprietors with 0 W-2 employees. These clients must have Schedule C income, operate as true owner-only businesses, and have no common law employees who would otherwise trigger coverage requirements or non-discrimination considerations. Now, not having employees does not make you a sole proprietor. It's having the Schedule C income. If we have time later, we'll tell you about a problem we had with a sub S Corp one year. So advisors should think about consultants, gig economy professionals, freelancers, professional e-gamers, some of them are making millions, tradespeople operating independently, and small business owners without staff. It does not apply to any business with employees, partnerships with common law employees, or S Corp owners who pay themselves W-2 wages. These structures involve different plan establishment and deferral timing requirements. Now, for qualifying clients, the retroactive deferrals can give them the rare ability to optimize contributions with hindsight using actual income information rather than estimates. Please emphasize that this planning window is not universal, all right? It's reserved for a narrow group. It also doesn't last forever. Now then, the plan needs to be set up and with the first the employee contributions made by April 15th of the following year. So for 2025, you need to have the plan set up, the account set up, and the employee deferral made by April 15th. With extensions, you have until October 15th to make the remaining employer contributions if they want to. Now, please note that with deposit timings, if these dates are on a weekend or on a Saturday, Sunday, or holiday, okay, the funds must be in the plan by that date, not just mailed. And it's not like with a tax return where if the 31st is on a Saturday or Sunday, you have until the following Monday to get it in. No, you actually have to have the money in the plan on or before the 15th, not just mailed. So hopefully October 15th is still a bit of enough time for that, and April 15th is enough time to get some 2025 401k plans started. So owner-only 401k plans provide significant advantages over SEP IRAs for eligible sole proprietors, especially with the introduction of retroactive employee deferrals for 2025. SEPs rely exclusively on employer contributions, limiting them to a percentage of net earned income. This means that a lower income sole proprietor often cannot contribute meaningful or the maximum amount to a SEP. The 401k introduces two different contribution levers. One is the employee and one is the employer. Now, the employer is still a percentage, but employee deferrals allow your clients to contribute up to the annual elective limit, regardless of percentage. They need to have enough income to cover the deferral, but not a percentage. Now, this can enable a substantial retirement savings, even when net earnings are modest. The addition of employer contributions allows contributions to scale upward with income as desired if they want. Now, in 2025, the maximum deferral limits, catch-up and super catch-up provisions for those over age 50 further expand planning opportunities. The 401k also allows Roth elective deferrals, providing tax diversification a SEP cannot match. Catch-up and super catch-up contributions further increase flexibility for older clients seeking to accelerate savings. Now, combining all of these features with the new retroactive capability, the 401k becomes a superior fit for clients who either want to maximize contributions or need the ability to make planning decisions after reviewing their tax situation. So remember, SEPs can't do the Roth, can't do the catch-up. For you, this shift strengthens the argument for recommending 401ks over SEPs, we think, in most owner-only scenarios. Okay. So why are we making a big difference? Why are we making a big deal about the difference between employee and employer contributions? With Schedule C income, as you remember, employer contributions reduce your net earned income. In order to make, and with a SEP IRA, you have a 25% of net earning income limit. So it's the lesser of $70,000 for 2025 or 25%. So in order to be able to contribute the maximum $70,000, the net earned income needs to be at least 280. That means it needed to be over 350 before you started making reductions. So every dollar you contribute as an employer contribution reduces their net earned income. A 401k plan does math differently, and this is why we think this is better. You only need $186,000 of net earned income in order to be able to make a $70,000 contribution. You'll see that's an approximately $100,000 reduction in the amount of net earned income you leave, and that's a result of the $24,500 in deferrals that counts towards the $70,000. The $24,500 does not reduce the net earned income, only the employer contribution. All right. So if you have a client in the $200,000 range, okay, they can do the $70,000. They're going to get close to it, much closer than they can with just a SEP. So this comparison clarifies, hopefully that made sense. This comparison clarifies where each plan type fits and why the owner-only 401k is the most powerful as it's the most flexible. The SEP IRA only allows employer contributions and excludes critical tools like Roth deferrals and catch-ups. Simple IRAs are structured for businesses with employees and don't really perform well in the owner-only market as their contributions are somewhat reduced. Again, the 401k stands out enabling employee and employer contributions, Roth, catch-up, and super catch-up, and obviously provides the higher contribution potential at the lower income. We showed that on the prior slide. With the ability to make retroactive employee deferrals, the 401k becomes even more appealing. It uniquely offers the ability to optimize contributions based on actual income. Now, please use this slide to communicate clearly how the three vehicles differ in terms of eligibility, contribution structure, tax planning flexibility, and suitability for owner-only situations. The comparison helps you explain why the SEP, we hope this comparison helps you explain why the SEP should no longer be the default for sole proprietors after the end of the plan year. So this is going to illustrate the advantages of the employee deferrals in this situation. Again, the SEP has 0 employee deferrals. And remember, the SEP is limited to the lesser of 25% of net earned income or $70,000. The maximum employee deferral for a simple IRA is $21,750. And for those who are 60 to 63 years old, the maximum deferral in a 401k plan is $34,750. This means that in a solo 401k plan, the maximum for the right age group is $81,250, whereas with a SEP, it's $70,000. So you get that extra $11,250 on the same earned income. It's because of the deferral and how the math differs for a deferral. Going to come really close to 15 minutes. Several misconceptions can cause you or clients to overlook the advantages of the 401k structure in an owner-only setting. Common myth is that a SEP IRA is simpler and therefore always preferable. While SEPs are straightforward, simplicity often comes at the cost of flexibility, tax optimization, and contribution potential. Hopefully, we've shown that on the other slides. Must clarify that SEPs cannot accommodate employee deferrals or Roth. Another misconception is that simple IRAs offer similar benefits with less administrative work, but simples assume, again, the workforce and they have lower contribution limits. Some also mistakenly believe that deadlines for establishing a 401k mirror those of prior years. Not so for sole props without employees. However, with the new retroactive deferral capability, plan establishment timing becomes far more flexible. Please also guard against assuming all clients qualify. The presence of even one part-time W employee changes the rules drastically. Additionally, clients may misunderstand Roth deferrals, thinking they're not allowed in a retroactive scenario. They are. In reality, Roth is fully permitted. All right. Now then, everybody who signed up is getting the slide deck. So we have, that's 16 minutes. We have the advisor checklist, which is going to be on the slide deck, and the advisor call to action. We are going to be going to questions right now. Do we have, Kaylin, what do we got going on? We don't,
No questions so
no
far.
questions. Okay.
It was
So,
that good.
okay. Um, okay. What kind what kind of bourbon? I love the logo. All right. So, this is Few. It's a Chicago. We're trying to drink local. I'm not sure if this is the one that's coordinated with Smashing Pumpkins or not. It seemed like a really good idea when we're doing our videos, but for doing all this talking, it's a little too much. So, no, has anybody tried to do this yet? Okay. Does everybody understand? So here, okay. So I'm going to ask a question. Excuse me. This is the problem with bourbon and talking. No. Okay. And another
We
good
had a
question.
question in the chat. Oh, now I got two.
Okay, good. Okay. So solo K eligible for tax credits. No, you need to have non-highlies. Okay. They can have an auto enrollment, but they don't get the $500 tax credit because it turns out you need at least one highly for all the credits. And there is a situation. This is what I was. So thank you, Chelsea. There is a situation. Well, I wouldn't. I would. Okay. I don't make any money selling SEPs. We make money selling 401k plans. So I'm going to say that they're at least equally good. Okay. So if you have somebody who was born in 1977 or later, so in other words, no catch up, they're making well north of $350,000 and the only thing they want is pre-tax, then for that person, there is essentially for that deposit, there is essentially no difference between a solo 401k and a SEP. Okay, they're going to get the same because we're talking about 2025. They're going to get the same $70,000 pre-tax. But if you have anybody born in 1976 or before, they're going to get either the regular catch-up or the regular catch-up and the super catch-ups. Or if somebody is making, if their Schedule C before employer contributions is less than $350,000, they are going to be able to put more money into the 401k than they can the SEP. And of course, we've always got the Roth option with that. Because remember, one thing we didn't mention with this that we need to remind people of is that there is no compensation maximum for a Roth deferral contribution. Okay. We didn't get into the one of the things that you can do with one of the things that you can do with a 401k plan is have the voluntary after-tax contribution that you turn into a Roth. So you're looking at over $70,000 contributed to a Roth each year if you've got the right sole proprietor situation. Talk to us about that. And again, for us, the big thing is with a SEP for that year, that's what you're having. You can't coordinate with a cash balance plan. If you want somebody who really wants to maximize, they're going to be better off with the cash balance and the 401k combination. So hopefully that answered your question. Okay. I know it. Oh, I got a new one. I see it, Kayla. Oh, you're very welcome. All right. So what you can now then, I'm going to talk about a subject that blows up in the next few minutes when you have employees because the testing is very different. All right. We get asked about, and I don't know, I just don't love the phrase. What is it? Come on, as I was going to say it, it just slipped me. The mega Roth something or other. Okay. So if you have somebody with at least $70,000 of net earned income, okay, they can make a $70,000 voluntary after tax. Please note that is complete. And by the way, we've gone into the accelerated part of the conversation now. The voluntary after tax contribution is not an employer contribution. It is not an employee deferral. It is different. It's still subject to the same 415 limits, or for 2025, $70,000. However, the one thing I'm talking out of the side of my mouth about, thank you, Mega Backdoor Roth. Thank you, Zach. Okay. The one thing I'm talking about is I don't know about the creation timing of that. I just realized that. So, because we had a question about where would the SEP be better? Okay. Retroactive contributions aside, because I'm not sure about that part. Sorry, just realized that. Hasn't come up before. You can make a voluntary after-tax contribution, then immediately convert it to Roth so that there is no gain. You keep it in there till 59 and a half, and that's tax-free. So yes, do you have somebody who wants to make a $70,000 after-tax contribution? They can do it in this kind of vehicle. We have to be very careful when we're talking about this because this does not work. And I know there's somebody on the webinar here. We talk about this a lot. This does not work when you have employees because the voluntary after-tax contribution has a very different kind of testing. It basically goes against the discretionary match, not a safe harbor match. It doesn't help. All right. So testing, it usually blows up. All right. I think any more? All right. So we are going to have so this is how you can get in touch with us. So there's the website, the 800 number, specific questions. If you don't want to ask them here, it's sales@hunterbenefits.com. That comes to us. That comes to the sales team. And of course, we've got the video channels. We've got our On the Couch series. We've got the 401k couple. Kaylin and my wife have the Planarchy podcast. Kaylin, you want to give a quick shout out as to what Planarchy does different than the other ones?
We focus on intergenerational looks at retiring and also like perspective of women in this business.
Yeah, much more focus on that. All right. We will be, we're going to need to, because the recording started a lot earlier than the webinar. We're going to be, we need to trim the recording before we send that out. And we'll be sending everybody who signed up the slides. And Kaylin has to do marches. Kaylin, do you remember what your subject is?
I
No,
do
it's not.
not.
No, I don't. So
It's not
we've
for a
got,
month.
It's a month. No, we've started planning on it, but I can't remember. I can't remember what it is. Throughout the year, we're going to be talking more about cash balance. We're going to be talking about the Roth catch-ups with the HPIs. Basically, the whole purpose of this series is to help give you compliance-based, sales positive ideas, what you can do to have a positive impact with your clients, what can help you sell an extra plan or two. And if you're doing that, we hope you remember your friendly neighborhood compliance geeks. Okay. We're going to end early, and I would like to thank everybody for showing up. Thank you very much, and looking forward to seeing you next month. Take care.